So I was reading about the Silksong news updates, and it just hit me that my teacher is still waiting on our 3D modeling project. So I thought, why not spend 3 days recreating every nail from Hollow Knight in Blender? What started as a quick idea just turned into the wildest journey of big mistakes, tiny wins, and last minute fixes. So stick around as I guide you step by step how I went from a rough sketch to a final render. Alright, we're kicking things off with nothing but a plain cube. Sounds straightforward. Therefore, how on earth do I transform this into an accurate 3D nail? First things first, I need solid references. So I grab screenshots of every nail, line them up in Blender's background, and voila! The inspiration gallery is set. Feels good to have a roadmap, but I can already sense this simple cube has bigger plans. So first I decided to make this level 2 nail, because it's the simplest one. I dive in headfirst, dragging vertices into place to match the nail's outline. For that iconic pointy tip, I collapse the bottom faces and boom, instant spikes. But wait, on the Z-axis this thing looks like a tree stump. We can't have our tiny knight swinging baseball bat, right? It's time to sharpen things up. And now we're talking sleek geometry. Suddenly that cube is morphing into something recognizable. Yet I can't shake the feeling that something is missing. Ah yeah, it dawns on me there is no handle. Well, that was obvious. How is our knight supposed to grip this nail? So add a cylinder, scale it just right, snap it onto the base, and just like that, we got a nail tool worthy of Hollow Knight. It's simple, clean, and most importantly, holdable. I can go as far as saying that I nailed it. And yes, this is not the last time you're gonna hear this joke in this video. Okay, round 2. Nail 1 is basically nail 2, but with those strange cracks. Therefore the plan was simple. Duplicate my level 2 masterpiece and carve in the cracks. How hard could it be, right? So first I hit sculpt mode, full of confidence. 2-minute stops, right? But 20 seconds in, my brush turned our perfect nail into a potato that's peeled by a 5-year-old helping his mom to cook. Yeah, this was not going as planned. So I just decided to slice everything with a knife tool. And every cut I made bent faces into chaos. My modeling skills felt as reliable as peeling potatoes blindfolded. What the f is this? It suddenly clicked. I was missing an edge loop down the center of those faces. So nothing held the crack together. Therefore, back into edit mode for a precision slice. Fast forward 6 hours through endless knife cuts and, oh no, that's worse moments, I finally saw something that's resembling actual cracks. But they were too subtle. I needed contrast. So I thought, texture paint to the rescue. But of course, I hadn't even set up a proper texture in the first place. My paint strokes smeared everywhere like spilled coffee. And my UVs, they looked like my university life, utterly chaos, but somehow holding together. After untangling those UV islands, miracle achieved. I rediscovered that glorious moment, painting directly on the texture. Why didn't I try that sooner? Like, this is so helpful, right? Okay, finally, I'm okay with this cracked beauty. But now I started to panic that I have 3 more nails to go, and guys, these first 2 nails took forever to make. Like, what is nail 5 going to be like? Like, I'm just looking at it, imagining something way more complicated. Alright, let's not worry about that now. Nail 3 awaits. So basically, nail 3 is the same as nail 1, but with a hole in it, and the handle sticking in that hole. Yes guys, I'm still talking about the model I'm making. So I slap on a mirror modifier, so any tweak on one side instantly doubles. I start thinking symmetry for the win, but as soon as I start nudging vertices back, forward, back again, it feels like mess rather than a smooth sculpt. At long last, that perfect hole appears. It looks simple, but getting those edges to form a clean, non-wobbly gap, that was a total mess. I slice and tweak until the hole is crisp. My palms are sweating, but the mesh is holding. Next up, the handle. This one's a little pointy at the tip, choppy in the middle. Therefore, it needs more respect than a straight cylinder. So I scale down, then buff up the middle, Then scale the tip again. Once it finally slots into the hole, without clipping through, I feel that sweet rush of yes. But the real test is texture. Can I blend that awkward seam into something believable? So I start painting the same way I did the first nail. So it's rough around the edges just like any other I make. Okay, this is looking better than I thought. Therefore, watching my skills evolve nail by nail. So being that motivated and ready for more action, it's time for nail 4. And this time I'm not holding back. I start by carving these loop cuts that's wrapped around the shaft. And next up I change the material to black to get some contrast. So at first creating that hole seemed like child's play. So naturally, Blender had other plans for me. With trembling hands I slid the handle through the hole. This time the fit is shockingly decent. Until I notice a tiny gap. Therefore I bevel and snap vertices until that seemed to vanish. Okay, for anyone following along, and I really hope that none of you is, separate your meshes. I learned the hard way that trying to model everything as one object leads to spaghetti geometry nightmares. And just like that, nail 4 stands complete. Our nail is alive and kicking. But now the ultimate boss awaits. Looking at the concept art makes my heart race. Is it even possible to make that thing? Well, I'm not backing down now, right? Just looking at the concept art, you spot the signature twisty spikes wrapping the shaft. Therefore my naive plan was, sculpt them on, and boom, done. Perhaps it was really that simple. I dove into sculpt mode full of hope. But seconds later it looked like a peeled potato. This was going nowhere, guys. I admitted defeat. Sculpting is for bros, not me. So I grabbed my trusty knife tool and began peeling away. 40 minutes later I had something that sort of resembled spikes. But honestly it still feels half-baked. And I started wondering if I was in over my head. Maybe I just can't create something this complicated. I started to feel very sad and unmotivated. Until I remembered that one move a guy pulled on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Phone a friend. So one of my friends is very good at Blender. And for some strange reason I haven't thought about asking him. So I reached out to him and when he texted back, one word stuck with me. Which is curves. Turns out Blender has curves that you can bend into any shape. Therefore, instead of hacking with knives, I could just lay down multiple Bezier curves around the nail space, and suddenly my heart started racing. I saw a path forward. Curve by curve, I wrapped each spike around the shaft. Progress was slow but satisfying. Every new curve brought me closer to the real deal. Then I spotted an odd flat area at the tip. So I added a cube, scaled it into shape, and modeled those undercurve ridges. From afar it looked promising, but the handle still loomed. I tried a simple Bezier curve for the handle, and nope guys, that was too stiff. Then I stumbled on a YouTube tutorial for a spiral curve add-in. So after trial and error, I wrapped the handle in spirals that actually fit. At last I dove into those tiny nails sprouting around the handle, wrapping each edge, squeezing them tight so no gaps peek through. Then I joined all those meshes into one, duplicated the cluster, flipped it, and glued it to the back of the blade. Therefore, with the geometry locked in, I cranked up the metallic slider and I dialed down the roughness. Instant chrome gleam. When I finally spun the model around and saw every curve and spike in place, a tidal wave of pride and relief hit me. I mean me, the same person who pushed basic cubes together, had just sculpted a 3D nail, kinda well. Okay, so before the final reveal, for full transparency, I'm still a Blender rookie, so this isn't perfect by any means. Therefore guys, take it with a grain of salt, but I couldn't be happier with how far I've come. I would really appreciate if you can hit that subscribe button and the like button if you like this video. So without further ado, here is the full lineup, nail 1 through nail 5. Here we go.